So I'm going to show you how I made the lid, and the first thing we need to do is to sand down these bumps, which is where the fiberglass overlaps. This is because we're going to stick some neoprene rubber on top and then the plywood, which is the deck, and we need that to have a smooth surface to create a smooth seal. And just making sure that it aligns correctly. It's all clamped up, and I just sawed off the front edge to make the board shorter. And some more sanding, and just tidied up the edge a bit with some sandpaper. So we're just going to coat the lid in some epoxy sealer, which gives it a waterproof coating, and we're mixing the sealer with acetone so that it penetrates further into the wood on the first layer. Now I only did one layer because, as you can see, the wood is quite curved, and I didn't actually want the sealer to set the wood in this curved manner. So I'm just cutting and gluing a test piece of rubber so I can see how strong it is for when I make the seals join. As you can see, I'm just going to put it along the edges of the boat like this. So to have a good seal, we have to make sure that the rubber and the fiberglass flange has a good contact. So we're using engineer's blue on a test strip, and we're going to put this up and clamp it against the fiberglass flange. And by looking at the blue patterns, we'll be able to see where the rubber has made contact with the fiberglass, and therefore this would keep out the water. And then we're just clamping that up at the same distance that we're going to put the bolts at, and this is so we can see how far the bolts need to be apart. So currently we're trying 15 centimeters. So with everything clamped up, we're going to be able to see a bow between the clamping points, and this is where there's going to be a potential for water to leak in, and using the engineer's blue will tell us how far we need to put these apart. This is what we're trying to avoid, and you can see exactly here the blue patches are where there's been contact, but the missing patches are where that you can get water potentially leaking through. So we're just getting rid of the engineer's blue with some acetone, and we did the same thing now on the front of the boat with the bolts closer together. And you can see that there's a much better pattern of contact, but again there's still some areas missing. The flange isn't actually completely horizontal, the flange is actually facing down a bit. You can see it if I come down to here, and therefore that's why you get the line at the back here. So we are cutting the rubber with a Stanley knife and a set square to make sure we get a good straight cut, and the rubber is going to go along the edge of the boat. This is what creates the waterproof seal. So I'm just lining up the neoprene strips, but we need to glue the corners together. So I'm just going to clean the surface with some acetone, and I'm going to use some Black Witch neoprene bonding to glue it together. This is actually pretty strong, but you can see here that there are some bumps on the surface, so we're going to clamp the neoprene up and do some light sanding. We're just marking some lines around the edge of the boat so we know where to drill, but also to make sure that we drill in a straight line. So today is going to be an exciting day because it's finally time to stick the deck onto the boat. So we're going to drill the holes and put the bolts through. So to help make sure that we have the holes correctly spaced apart and that the holes are drilled straight, I've 3D printed off one of these devices, and it's basically for the different sections of wood has these supports which will guide the drill down straight, but also it ensures that the holes are the right width apart.